Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode, I'm going to be recapping the 2025 releases of the Eighth Doctor Adventures. In the last episode, if you're listening to this episode on an audio platform, it released yesterday, probably, or the last podcast episode, obviously now down to 5 episodes a week, and I don't quite remember when episodes are coming out yet because I haven't uploaded them yet. Or sent them to Matt yet. I will be doing that today, but I haven't done it yet, so I haven't aren't able to see the dates and stuff until I record and send those episodes. But yeah, obviously we're continuing looking at the Eighth Doctor Adventures. Shouldn't be as long as the last episode because we're only focusing on 2 releases in this episode rather than 6, so I could have probably spread them out. But it was an odd one because 2024 was the big year, but I wanted to look at 2023 as well, so kind of that's why it's a longer episode. So it should be normal length, this one, even though all the Big Finish ones tend to be well over 20 minutes. Well, apologies, Matt, sorry for that. But we start off, as I say, with the Eighth Doctor Adventures Causeway, which was released in November 2025, obviously, as I said in the last episode, or the other Eighth Doctor Adventures episode, whenever it released, that kind of November and December are the months where the Eighth Doctor Adventures tends to be released. I think 2024 was a strange one because there's more releases and other things, so that isn't necessarily the case. But here's the synopsis for the set. Exploring with best friends Audacity and Charlie, the Doctor delights in showing them the wonders of the universe, but something dogs their footsteps. We start off with Lost Among the Stars, written by Rashana Patel, with the following synopsis. The Doctor wants to find a challenge for Charlie and Audacity. All of time and space awaits, with wonders beyond their wildest dreams and darkest nightmares, but are they truly ready to venture further out amongst the stars? We then also have The Times You Never Had, Parts 1 and 2, written by Tim Foley, with the following synopsis. The yesterday of opulence, tomorrow soft and ironclad, beyond the merry oculus, the time you never had. This set was recorded on the 11th, 12th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st of February 2025. So it was recorded, it was kind of 9 months, so kind of a little, kind of normal time, and does star Paul McGann as the Eighth Doctor, India Fisher as Charlie Pollard, and Jay Griffiths as Lady Audacity Monsky. So before I tell you my thoughts, here is the trailer for the Eighth Doctor Adventures, Causeway.
The Causeway.
The Causeway.
I've seen signs of the Causeway popping up in other places.
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, The Eighth Doctor Adventures, Causeway.
Humanity is out amongst the stars, exploring and colonizing the galaxy,
We've detected an uncharted planet.
discovering things beyond their wildest dreams and their darkest nightmares.
Designation X03A.
Just adrift out here in the dark.
I'm the first living creature to walk these streets in thousands of years.
That's archaeological evidence of an ancient interstellar superpower, which vanished without a trace.
It is wondrous.
Shapes, shadows, whispering to me, hurting me.
This entire world is a graveyard.
That is your cloister bell.
Oh, the TARDIS is buckling!
That is not a TARDIS, Charlie. We were skirting along a very dangerous ridge in the time vortex.
Look at the air, the sparks.
A tear in the oculus.
It fell out of time.
Copenhagen, capital of Denmark. I'm not sure of the year, feels late 20th century.
This is the most advanced temporal lab in all of Europe.
A slot at the Causeway. We know what's coming.
Time travel for all.
My name is Mr. Barabbas.
Homo reptilian.
But right now, the Causeway is real, and the danger is real.
The cosmos you left behind looks to have been completely destroyed.
All of time and space is stood at risk of total collapse.
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
That was the trailer for the Eighth Doctor Adventures Causeway, and I can actually talk about this one a bit more as it was only released a couple of months ago. Obviously, November 2025. I'm recording this episode on the 16th of February 2026, so only 3 months in it. Obviously, it being released most likely on audio, it will be released in March on YouTube and Rumble. I'm not as sure, but yeah, it will obviously be coming out after I've recorded it. So yeah, Lost Amongst the Stars. This was a dark story, this one, where through several points the Doctor believes that both Charlie and Audacity are dead, and you're kind of like, what? Because the thing is that I've not listened to these stories, but the Doctor and Charlie have had story. The first Paul McGann 8th Doctor audios were with India Fisher's Charlie, so they have to end up there, so they're safe. But Audacity, because she was only introduced recently, that kind of her destiny and fate is a bit more open-ended. So we don't quite necessarily know where she's going to end up. But the idea that both of them, that we would just end up with a solo 8th Doctor, which was possible, and then we knew that this two-parter was coming called The Time You Never Had, which obviously full-on spoilers here, especially for this story. It's a two-parter written by Tim Foley, as I've talked about before. Tim Foley, not a stranger to writing longer stories, obviously writing a 12-part Hook Light, as well as loads of other length stories. So yeah, it's just what was I going to say? It is basically what happens is Audacity kind of is separated from the Doctor and Charlie, and kind of is replicated and cloned, and then there's two versions of Audacity, and one of them has to sacrifice themselves. So it's the older one, not the one with the Doctor, Charlie, and Audacity. So kind of things do change, but not in the way that we think. So yeah, that's kind of, and also in the behind the scenes interviews for this set, Tim Foley talks about that he's basically pieced together these 4 box sets: Audacity, In the Bleak Midwinter, Deadly Strangers, and Causeway. I think he's written on pretty much all of them. I think he may have not. He didn't write on Deadly Strangers, I don't think, but kind of the other 3 sets he's written at least. He's written one of the stories in each set for, and obviously 2 of those being 2-hour stories with The Great Cyber War and The Time You Never Had, and kind of that he's stepping back and someone else is taking control. So we do know that the stories, the journey of the 8th Doctor, Charlie and Audacity, will continue. We just don't know how quite yet. But speaking of the 8th Doctor, we're now on to the other 8th Doctor TARDIS team, that being the 8th Doctor, Liv and Helen, with Empty Vessels, which was released 1 month later in December 2025, with the following synopsis. The TARDIS will always respond to a cry for help. Although its timing can be a little off, the Doctor, Liv and Helen have the skills to save anyone in danger if they can find them. Empty vessels make the loudest sound, but sometimes that sound is a scream of terror. We start off with Eos Falling, written by Matt Fitton, with the following synopsis. The Doctor, Helen and Liv find themselves on an abandoned spaceship, hurtling towards an inhabited world. The crew have vanished, but the TARDIS travellers are not alone on this empty vessel. Have they really discovered a ghost ship? We then have Law of the Zygons, Parts 1 and 2, written by Roy Gill, with the following synopsis. A distress call draws the Doctor, Liv and Helen to a remote world and a crashed ship where Captain Alahan is searching for her lost sibling. As the storms close in, the 2 crews must investigate the wreck together. In the darkness, the Zygons are waiting. This set was recorded on the 28th of March, 4th of April, 7th and 14th of May, and 4th of June 2025. It's kind of normal-ish kind of time frame. With Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor, Nicola Walker as Liv, Hattie Morahan as Helen, obviously other cast, but that's the main cast, with Nicholas Briggs featuring this, and the actress who plays the Taurus in the 13th Doctor Adventures, which we'll get onto in a future episode, or past future for audio, anyway, but that's spoilers for that. So before I let you know my thoughts, here is the trailer for the 8th Doctor Adventures, Empty Vessels.
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, The 8th Doctor Adventures, Empty Vessels.
Help us! Mayday! Mayday!
It is a Marie Celeste.
In under 2 hours, this ship is going to crash into the colony. Hence their distress call.
We landed on a ship on a collision course. Why didn't you tell us?
I feel we're being watched. The whole place is unsettling.
Space! Dark! Empty space!
I saw a face at the lost that girl.
We're dead. Are we all dead?
Welcome to Anthon's Fall. Watch your step.
Activate in stealth mode.
This was the closest the TARDIS could bring us to the crash site.
Got a few unexpected guests.
The Zygons.
The humans have brought them our deliverance.
Experimental ship with experimental locks.
Why are you hiding things?
It would be an honor for your weak human flesh to feed our skeleton.
The doctor said he met one by Loch Ness. I don't think they got on.
And a new brood of hatchlings.
Listen.
Like rats in the roof.
There's creatures crawling all over the walls and ceilings.
Activate and acquire.
The Zygon lure.
Bring the cannon online. Ready to fire on your command.
No, you can't. My friends are on that ship.
We conquer.
Big finish. But another
That was the trailer for the 8th Doctor Adventures Empty Vessels. Now, I can't remember much about Eos falling apart from it's to do with the spaceship and kind of about kind of Helen's future. Helen, played by Hattie Marhan, as I mentioned before I showed you the trailer, kind of what her future after travelling with the Doctor is, because obviously most companions, if they're still alive, do live they're not with the Doctor forever, and kind of what that looks like, because I think this team has been around for like getting on for 15 years, so obviously that's a long time, and obviously in the TV show it wouldn't have a TARDIS team for that long. And if you look at especially modern Doctor Who, like the closest you would get is Stephen Moffat's show running for 7, 8 years. So yeah, nothing compared to that. But yeah, Lure of the Zygons is an interesting one, because kind of it's Liv meets the Zygons portraying as Helen, and kind of it's all of that, and kind of Liv working out why this isn't actually Helen and is a Zygon is quite interesting. Now, loads of people have said that they don't particularly like this one. I don't particularly remember much of it, which obviously isn't a good sign, whereas Causeway is I think, if you were going to choose a set for the year, maybe go Causeway, unless you are a Liv and Helen fan and want to continue their adventures, then you might choose this one. But yeah, that's all of the past 8 Doctor Adventures sets, but obviously with all of the Doctors, or most of them, the 8 Doctor Adventures continues into 2026, with the first set releasing in November 2026, as well as the second set releasing in December 2026. But don't worry, you don't have to wait that long if you want more 8th Doctor, because in July, I think it is, July 2026, the 8th Doctor finally arrives in Rutarans versus Sontarans, Peace at Last, which is released, as I said, in July 2026, written by Tim Foley, with the following synopsis. On the precipice of a peace it stands. After the destruction of a major stronghold, the Sontarans propose something extraordinary. More extraordinary still, the Rutons say yes. The Doctor, Charlie and Chris are on hand to watch history being made. Yet history has other ideas. A plan that has taken centuries is about to come to fruition. The Melmoth is returning. This was recorded on the 19th of January 2026, so kind of not that long ago, a month. And does star Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor, India Fisher as Charlie Pollard, and Conrad Westmus returning as Chris, who we've not seen, I think, since Sontarans versus Rutons, so it's 2.5 years ago, which again I will talk about in a previous episode, future episode rather. But that's it for all. That's all the announced 8th Doctor content for 2026. I'm sure there'll probably be a few more, but with three sets and an extra Rutons versus Sontarans story, like you've got loads of 8th Doctor stories to look forward to. But without further ado, let me know what you thought about all the releases I talked about in this episode. And if you've listened to any of them, let me know what you thought in the comments below. My recap, if you didn't, give me your thoughts on all of those in the comments below. And I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. See you then. Goodbye.